Yo, guys, welcome back to the Famous Chili Podcast. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Check us out on all platforms at Famous Chili Pod. Guys, today we got a very special guest. He's a rapper with a combined following of over 400,000 followers. You may have seen him performing in clubs throughout Atlanta or opening up for NLE Choppa. He just dropped his new single, Too Much, and is gearing up to drop his new album. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the singer, songwriter, rapper, and producer, Jay Royal. Come on, guys, clap it up, clap it up.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
How you doing, man? It's good to have you on.
Thank y'all for having me, man. I love being on. Love doing podcasts. So excited.
Sick. So tell us a little bit about yourself to start off.
So I started making music probably when I was in fifth grade. I started making beats because I had like some little app on my phone that I used to make beats on. I was doing that for a while, and then when I was like middle school, my friend had made like a diss track on me one time because I didn't want to go to his house. I didn't want to go to his house. So he tried to diss track on me. And I was like, dang, now I got to respond to that. So that was the first time I ever rapped on a song. And I did that, and it was like, I liked it. My friends liked it. It was fun. So that's kind of how I started like actually rapping, even though I'd always been making beats. So that's like a little funny story back in like eighth grade. And then probably in high school, that's when I started taking the music more seriously and making my own songs and releasing them. And then I guess like it started picking up a lot of traction on TikTok. Like probably 2 years ago, I just started posting on TikTok like every single day. I was doing like funny videos, put my songs in the background. I didn't do it a lot to like the little Too Easy trend, the LeBron James sound. Then I made a song off that, and that was like that's what got me to like getting like 1 million views, like every video like blowing up, like that type of thing.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy, by the way. Getting that off of like a trend like that is insane.
Right.
Yeah.
How big of a impact do you think social media like TikTok and Instagram has on music now? Because, a lot more artists are seeing like it's a lot easier to blow up, I guess, in certain sense. Because back in the day when it was just all like analog, you would have to go out, buy CDs, no streaming, no TikTok, no social media. How much harder do you think it is now to make it compared to then? Or how much easier?
I think it's easier for like to make it by yourself. Like I think it's easier for like anybody to be able to make it, whereas like back then you would have to have some type of connection or know certain people. So it's like now you can be somebody from, I don't know, Wisconsin or something like that, some random city, and you can reach someone in Atlanta or in California just by posting on your phone. So it makes it so like anyone who really wants to make music, they have a way to get their music out there. Whereas before, you would just have to be out on the street, handing out CDs or something, just asking people to listen. Like it's just so much easier for like the smaller artists now. But it also means that it's so much more saturated because not anyone can just pick up their phone, post something, or like go on SoundCloud and post songs. So it's kind of like a double-edged thing. But for people that are really serious about it, I think it's like it makes it a lot easier.
Do you think it's good for like music as a whole though, having like so many people, everybody trying to make music, or do you think TikTok in a way is kind of ruining it? Because now you see artists like do you remember back in like COVID, like Drake put out Tootsie Slide and it was like just for TikTok pretty much, just so we could have like a dance trend. Do you think it dilutes it in any way?
I think in terms of like the artistry side of things, like for sure, like you see so many songs nowadays that are just for TikTok, or they just have like that one catchy part for the viral moment, and the rest of the song is kind of like like I don't know. But I think that it's like two sides of the every time, because it's like you have those people that are just trying to go viral, but then you also have like a lot of people that are really talented that would have never been discovered if it wasn't like for TikTok or for something like that. So I think it definitely, there's way too many people trying to do it now just because it's like the trendy thing to do. But in terms like for actual musicians, I think it's still like a good thing.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, like you have to use that in your favor, right? Because like if you're trying to get because like if you're trying to get people to like know your discography more, try to get to know your music more, you gotta post, for the mainstream TikTok to kind of get them, hooked onto that catchy sound, because that's kind of how like music is now, right? Because like we're talking back to like the 50s and 60s, people would look for like the hook, right? Or like one like catchy line that they can dance to or whatever. But now it's stuff like, like Afro beats, like songs without like lyrics or anything like that is really what's catching people's attention. So it's all about like, how can I blow up on TikTok? How can I make the beat that like stays stuck in my head like all the time? Like that's really what it's all about. And it's crazy how you can just like use that, you know, to your advantage. I was watching one of your TikToks yesterday. It was like oh my god, what was it? It was like somebody dropping a bomb off an airplane and you like push a trampoline underneath as well. And it's like the too easy trend, bro. And I was laughing my ass off, man. That was actually so funny. It is so cool how you like, you know, you kind of play that into like your song, you know, and kind of be able to manipulate that. It's pretty dope. I'm not gonna lie.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I love like the reels and TikToks you post, and I wanted to ask you about that actually. Do you think like those are obviously like really funny? You don't take them like too serious. Do you think artists sometimes try to take themselves too seriously? Because you're out here on TikTok, Instagram, just having fun, making jokes, and then some people you'll see they're sitting all stoic, like they don't want to crack a smile even on Instagram. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people they try to. I guess they don't want to be themselves, or they have like some type of persona that they like are so obsessed with following that they're like, oh no, like I would never post on TikTok, like that's, you know what I mean, like that's not hard, that's not, you know what I mean. But for me, I just like I like to do it, it's fun. I like to do funny things, so it's like no problem for me. But I think for a lot of people, they just aren't able to be like vulnerable or express themselves in any different type of way than what they do in their music. So it's like, I don't know, I don't agree with that, but
I can't imagine seeing Benny the Butcher going out there.
Right. Yeah, for some people, like it's just not their persona. It's not their
yeah. You mentioned how like
go for it. You got it.
Yeah. No, you got it.
I was saying, Ari started off talking about, you know, all of your accolades and everything you've got done and things that are coming for you. You do have an upcoming album. Do you want to talk to us a little bit about that? You know, give us some information about the album that everyone out there might not know.
Yeah, so the album I dropped like a year or two ago called Upper Realm, that was like my first kind of, I guess, like serious album where like I kind of did everything. I was putting a lot of work into it. And that's what my first album that got like started getting a lot of traction, especially like on TikTok and stuff. So now my next album is kind of like a sequel to that one. It's called Upper Realm 2. And it's kind of just going deeper into that type of sound, the type of music that I've been making, and just kind of reaching the next level of my music, like artistically. So it's like music that you've heard before, like that I've made, but it's just kind of like 10 times better, like 10 times to the next level, more energy, you know, more artistry in the beats, things like that. I think it'd be super crazy.
Yeah. Do you have any inspiration coming out from behind that album?
I don't know. I just comes to me. It's just like, you know, I make all the beats. I make like all my own music myself. So it's like, I just kind of get inspired by, you know, things I hear, things I do, things that happen in my life. But like the main message I try to spread in that type of music is like when you listen to it, you feel like you can do whatever you want. Like, you know what I mean? You feel like you stop, you can achieve whatever dream you want to achieve. It kind of like just makes you feel much more confident and like that you could do what you want to do. Yeah. That's like my message.
Yeah. You say you made you work on everything yourself. You write, you do the lyrics, you record, you mix, master, produce everything.
Yeah, I do.
Damn. That's crazy.
Yo, so how long does it take to learn something like that? You know, like for like up and coming artists, like how long does it take for you to master skills like that to the point where you're just like producing yourself? You know, you don't have to have someone making beats for you.
I mean, it's not easy because I mean, I've been doing it my whole life. So it's like, for me, it's kind of just been years of just kind of trial and error, figuring it out since like 5th grade. But I will admit, like, I was a kid trying to do it. So it's like a lot harder to do it when you're so young. Like if I had to start over now, like there's just so many resources, like on YouTube and like for free and things like that. It's really not that hard to learn how to do it. But when it comes to doing something like making beats, or like mixing and mastering, like things like that take a lot of practice. So like you could learn like how to do it quickly, but if you want to like kind of have your ability catch up to your ear, like your taste or what you want, like it'll take you at least like a year or two to really get good at like making the beats that you want to make or being able to make the song sound like how it should sound. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's definitely a grind, but now that there's like so many free resources out there, like anyone could learn how to do it. It just takes a lot of work.
Yeah, I know, because like my friends back home, they have like a alt rock band, And when they were gearing up to release their first EP, they finished recording everything like so long before it was released. They spent a good like 6-7 months just keep remixing, remastering everything. Like it took so long.
Yeah, that's the hardest part for sure. Like you just never, you can keep tweaking the mix forever. Like at some point you just got to drop it. But like I don't even like to mix my own stuff anymore. Like now I use an engineer just because it's so time consuming. Like now I have someone that I'll send it to, and then we'll work together on it. But yeah, like the mixing part takes so long.
Yeah. I don't know if you know this, actually. One of a guest who we had on the podcast a while ago actually follows you. He's a producer and he mixes and masters for like Lil TJ and stuff.
Oh, really?
What's his name? Yeah, his name's Skycamp.
Nah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's cool. It was so random. When I saw your account, I saw he was followed by you. I was like, oh shit, like damn. What are the chances?
Dang.
All right, let me ask you a question. I know you were talking about like how you like kind of like model your music after over like a specific theme. Is there like a specific like artist or rapper, in today's era or even before today's era that you kind of model your music after?
Not my music, like in terms of the songs I make, but in terms of like the beats that I make. So when I started out making beats, when I was a kid, I was making more like EDM type of music, like synths, all that type of stuff. But I would always listen to rap, like in hip hop. So, like albums like when the rage music started coming out, like in like Whole Lotta Red, things like that, where they kind of took the EDM and the hip hop and combined it. That was always what I was trying to do, like with my music. So like I'd always been making beats like that, but when like albums like that came out and showed, like a working way to do it, that definitely inspired me a lot. Like beats like on the Playboi Carti Whole Lotta Red album, some of Yeat's beats, some of Trippie Redd's beats when he did the rage stuff. Like a lot of that kind of inspired me to shape like a new way for me to make my beats. But in terms of like my music, I kind of just make like what I like to make. But definitely in terms of like the sounds and like the beats that I use are inspired by those types of people.
How do you feel about comparisons? I saw someone on your reel recently said something about you sounding like Yeet. Do you feel like honored when you hear that, or do you feel a little bit slighted? Because in one way, they're comparing you to another artist, but in another way, if it's someone you look up to, do you see that as like a compliment that you're putting out something similar to an artist that you look up to in a way?
To me, I guess it depends on how they're phrasing it. I mean, most of the time I don't really care. Like, I don't care too much about comments. Like, especially like on TikTok, if you're getting like millions of comments, like you kind of get used to it. But I would say like if it's just like everyone say you sound like one certain artist, something like that, you would never like that because you want to be your own person. But when some people use that as a compliment, so it's like you got to kind of see where they're coming from. Some people use it to hate on you, and some people use it like as like, oh, I really like this artist. You sound like them, like that's cool. So you got to kind of read the room and read like how they're trying to say it. But I try to take all that with a grain of salt, anyways. Like it's not.
Yeah.
With that idea of like having,
sorry, go ahead.
Twice. With that idea of like having your own sound and like being yourself, do you want to stay independent, or do you in the future want to sign to a label? Do you want to take that like common route, or do you want to kind of stay with this like TikTok career where you like really make music on your own, like produce it on your own and push it on your own platforms, try to get it out there by yourself? Or would you rather be with the label in the future?
I think I'd probably rather be independent, at least like for right now. Just because when you're independent, you can control everything that you want to control. You can just do it yourself. You can choose when to drop, what to drop. Also, you own it, so you make all the money from it. Being signed to a label, you kind of have to do what the label wants you to do. So like you see that with a lot of people, like before they're signed, they're like a completely different type of person, make different music than when they get signed. And now all of a sudden they don't drop for 2 years because they can't. Like, the label controls all that. So that's never something I don't want to happen to me. Because when you get signed by a label and then they don't like push you anymore, you're basically like, that's it. Like you're just kind of stuck there, right? Now you're in debt because the money that they pay, you got to pay them back. And if they don't even let you drop any music, now you can't even pay them back. So that's why like I wouldn't want to do like a label career right now. But once you already have like traction and stuff like that, if you get signed, you have like a good deal, then the label just kind of makes it easier. Like if you're like Drake or like, somebody like that, they're not controlling him. It's just like, they do like all the hard parts for him. They do like all the marketing and all that for him. So then it's kind of like just like a job and it's easier. So like if I had a deal like that, I think I would probably like it. But definitely for like right now, and like the beginning of my career, I want to stay independent.
Yeah, I kind of like that, you know, like especially when you're still growing. I feel like it's great to build that like foundation of a fan base, you know, who's like really gonna ride for you. And then by the time you do sign with the label, because we see so many people get fucked over in the music industry by their label, you know. So if by that point you have like such a solid fan base who are gonna ride with you no matter what, even if something happened with the label, you can at least have faith that those people are still gonna keep up with you, you know.
Yeah. I think Hrishi wanted to ask a quick question.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up, guys? I'm back. So this is kind of like the growing pains of shooting online. This happens a lot. It's part of it. Okay, I guess what I really just wanted to ask is like, you know, now that you're like you're big now, right? So now that you kind of have following, now that you kind of have, you know, solid monthly listeners, you know, coming in and listen to all your music, what was like that defining moment for you? You know, where you were just like, yeah, like I got motion now, like, you know, like this is like I finally got things going.
You just said that, man.
Dude, I had to say that, dude. That. Oh my god, I had to say that. Bro. Are you serious? Shit, since birth.
Since birth.
Since birth. I would say, yeah, probably when the Too Easy thing started popping off, because I had got like a couple of viral videos before that, but the problem with getting a viral video is that you got to do it again. So it's like before I was having like a viral video and then like, you know, some okay videos, whatever, and then another one, and it was real spread out. And then once I did like the Too Easy trend and like made that song, then I started getting like a viral video every single video and getting like a bunch of followers, a bunch of people like recognizing me like out like in real life. So things like that when like once you start getting recognized in real life, like off of like your TikTok or something like that, then you're like, okay, now like I'm really doing something, because like you wouldn't expect that. But yeah, when probably around that time when all that started happening, I started doing the Too Easy trend, and then I started getting more streams and stuff too. That's when I was like, okay, now I'm doing something serious.
How's that feel, just like walking around and like seeing people actually like recognize you? Does that still happen to you like quite a lot? Does that happen to you a fair amount?
I mean, yeah. I mean, if I'm on like tech campus and stuff like that, it's crazy. Especially after I did like the open up for NLE, like that type of thing.
Yeah.
Like I was just walking down the street, you see like 10 Asian girls running at you saying J Roy. You're like, oh my god, like what's going on? You know what I mean? So it's like it's lit for sure. It's a different type of feeling, like being recognized in person based on online stuff.
Yeah, dude, we got to talk about you opening for NLE, man.
Yeah,
what was that like?
It was crazy. Unexpected too, because when we did that, like I was doing the homecoming concert for Georgia Tech. They didn't tell me who I was opening for until like I didn't even know actually. Like one of my friends told me like, "Yo, like you're opening for NLE," and I was like, "I am." Like what? They didn't tell me until like the week before, because it was like I guess it was like a secret that he was going to do it. So that was crazy. I didn't expect it to be NLE. I didn't know it was gonna be somebody like that, but I was glad that it was. And then doing the show was crazy. Just being able to say that you got to open up for NLE. But how it was ran though, like the concert team or whatever, it was so unorganized. like nobody knew what was going on, man. It was crazy. Like I was trying to get like my friends in or something, like right before I was supposed to perform. It was like I was running around doing a bunch of stuff. So I was like, whatever. But it was worth it though.
Did you get to like talk to him and interact with him outside of just?
Nah, I didn't. Like everyone got to meet him, but me. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
what?
Yeah, right. Like everyone else got to meet him, but me. He was even telling him like, yeah, like he fucked with the opener, like he liked my music and shit, but I didn't get to meet him. I don't know. It just didn't.
They didn't even let you like. They didn't let you talk to him or anything. They just like pulled you off stage, put him on stage, and then like.
No, well, it was just I don't know. Like I don't even know where he was, because we just didn't run into each other. And then by the time like I was gonna go talk to him, I think he had left or something, because like we didn't. When I went backstage, I don't think he was backstage yet, and there was like a little basketball thing in between, and then he had come out. So I just never got to run into him. It was just weird.
Damn.
But yeah.
Wait, so you said like you weren't able to. Who didn't let you? Like, was it the school? Like they didn't let you?
I guess
like,
it was
see
the
him,
security or something. I don't know. I mean, like it's not even like I didn't even. It's not like somebody stopped me. There was just no opportunity to meet, because he wasn't backstage when I was backstage, and then when he didn't like show up until he was on stage, and then when he was leaving stage, then they wouldn't let nobody go back there, right? Mm-hmm. So then it was like after he left stage and like they got all their stuff, I think he just straight left. So I don't even know when the other people met him. Like I didn't even know when they did that. because he just wasn't
That's
there.
so
Like,
weird.
yeah, he wasn't there when I was there. But
you would think as a performer you have like free
right,
access to anywhere you want to go,
you think so,
backstage,
but nah, it wasn't. Yeah,
on stage, wherever.
usually you would, but it wasn't like that at that point. But
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah.
I mean, you still got to say you opened for NLE, and this kind of opens up. This opens up a lot for you. They can't take that from you.
Exactly.
This opens up a lot for you. So like, how do you feel like going forward? Like, how do you like now like ride this wave? You know, now that you kind of like, now that you're getting like bigger concerts, now you're working with like bigger artists. Like now, where do you see yourself in like? I mean, I didn't mean to phrase this like an interview question, but you know, like where do you see this going the next like 2 to 3 years?
D cut out.
Yep. Hrishi, say that again. You cut out.
All right, man. Yeah. So, anyways, I didn't want to phrase like interview question, but that's how it's going to come out. I was like, where do you see, you know, your music going? Where do you see your following going and growing in the next like 2, 3, 4 years?
For me, it's just a matter of like staying consistent. You know, dropping music consistently, keep posting content, doing shows and things like that to like kind of get that snowball effect going. I think right now I'm in a great position to where it's like you never know what can happen. Like, you know, something can happen overnight that could change everything I'm doing right now. So it's like that's why you got to kind of just keep hitting it every day until you hit that spark. Because like that's how it is with TikTok now too, and like just with the online virality moment, like you can have a moment so quick, it can go away so quick. So you never know what's gonna happen. Like so, for me, it's just like keep trying to do it every day, and then the more that you do it, the more you'll get out of it. So like in 2 or 3 years, like who knows what can happen? I could be opening for Drake or something like that. So it's like, you know, I just gotta keep
in 2 to 3 years you could be Drake, man.
I could be Drake. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
that's
like 3 or 4 years is a long time. Who knows? But yeah.
So you said you're still in school too, right? You go to G Tech?
Yeah, I go to Tech still. Yeah.
What are you studying at Georgia Tech?
So when I first came to Georgia Tech, I was doing the music tech program.
Yeah.
Because that's just seemed like the most related thing to do. But then I switched over to marketing like in like my second year probably, because the music tech program here was just not like what I do. It's not really for making music. It's more for like if I wanted to make like speakers or work for Spotify or something like that, like with data.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's not really for making music. So that's why I switched to marketing, because like you have to market your music. I figured it's like the second closest thing to what I'm doing. So that's what
So how are you handling school with like such a growing platform now? Because like I feel like school itself is already such a pain, especially going to like a big school like Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure it's difficult. So how you doing it, man? Like, give us the secrets, bro.
It sucks, man. It just sucks. It's annoying, yeah. Like, I mean, if I have certain things that I have to do, like I have like, you know, certain things I have to do for music or go meet with some important people, I'll just not go to class. Like I just skip class. But I think like being in like business, it's a lot easier than being like an engineer. Like music tech was way harder than marketing. So it's just I just kind of do the work I need to do, and then when I'm not in school or I'm not in class, I just focus on trying to get my own stuff done. And like, you know, any class where like I don't have to be there, like I'm probably not going. Like if they don't have required attendance, I'm probably not going. I just make sure like I do good on the test.
If you were given the ultimatum right now and it was like drop out of school and continue doing music, or stay in school and you have to cut music out and you have to cut music out.
Yeah, I would drop out. I would drop out immediately.
The right answer.
Yeah.
Yo, you ever have to like perform one night and then like go to like an 8 a.m. class like the next day or anything like that, or you just skip
like
that
an
class?
Exam or midterm.
I would usually skip the class, but yeah, like I've had to do like before midterm or before finals, like I would have to be in the club performing at like 3 a.m. Then I would wake up like 8 a.m. hungover and go do my exams. Like, yeah, it's crazy. But I still did good. I think I got like a 98 on that exam, so it was fine.
But that's mad props for that.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Nobody's got any excuses then to do bad here, bro.
Yeah, it sucks.
It's actually impossible to be like, oh man, like I didn't study well, like I didn't do this, I didn't do that. Like you got this man right here, you know, up till 3 a.m. doing performing and going the next.
It's too easy, huh?
Yeah. That's too easy. That's too easy.
First.
Yeah.
You talked about
coming to like third time.
Damn, you guys are 3 for 3. 3 for 3.
You got it, man.
I was gonna go back to the point of like you opened up for NLE and we were saying like, you know, you could open up for Drake or even be Drake in the next few years.
Yeah.
Is NLE one of those top artists for you? Who are like your top 5 like big artists, or like top 3 if you don't have top 5? Like who are those artists that you genuinely enjoy listening to?
Okay.
Not necessarily influences, but
one of my favorite artists is Drake, I guess, because my mom has always been like a big fan of Drake. So when I was a kid, like I was like, she went to all the Drake concerts, like I think that's ever been in Atlanta. So when I was a kid, I just heard him a lot, and him still being so popular, like what 10, 15 years later, it's kind of crazy. It's like he's like LeBron of the music.
Yeah, the LeBron of the music industry.
I like listening to some of Playboy Cardi stuff. My biggest fan, like when I was a kid, I was always a big fan of Lil Uzi Vert. Like all his old music, like that's like my whole playlist. Like I listen to so much of like all his stuff before like Eternal Take and all that. I listen to that all the time. His new music, I still like it, but it's not like as good to me as like his older stuff. I like listening to Gunna, Thug, Future, like those type of people.
Yeah.
But like my main influence is probably like Lil Uzi when I was a kid.
If you had the option to collab with one of the people that you just named, which one would it be?
Oh man,
have him feature on a album.
I'll say it would have to be Drake. Like I feel like
Drake?
that's like the holy.
That's the right answer. That's like
the
answer.
That's like the answer you gotta say. I mean, like when you look at anyone that's like blowing up, it's like when they blow up, like they get like the Drake feature. It's like a thing.
Yeah.
But
like Dirk got that.
Yeah, like but besides Drake, just because of that, it probably would have always been like Lil Uzi, just because that would always be like somebody I listened to when I was a kid. Like, and it would like I feel like that would work better.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of those two would have to be.
Since you mentioned Drake and you mentioned Future, I think we got to talk about what's going on in the state of hip hop right now, man. we got rap is finally fun again, man.
Right.
Like we got Kendrick, Cole, and Drake going at it. Kendrick taking shots mostly at Drake, but also some shots at Cole. And now Cole dropped his album last Friday, taking some shots back at Kendrick.
Yeah.
What do you think about this whole situation right now?
That was so unexpected. Like to me, it was just like because I was wondering why. I think Future like wasn't on the last Drake album or something like that. And I was like, yeah, because he had that song like "What Would Pluto Do?" and Future wasn't on it. Yeah. And I was like, why? Like, why is Future not on this album? But now it makes sense, like when because I didn't expect them to drop. I was also wondering why Drake wasn't on the Metro Boomin album. Like, but anyways, so then they dropped that, and then that district happened. I was like, whoa, like Drake and Future, like you think that's the dynamic duo? And now they're beefing over, I guess, like a girl or something. I mean, yeah. It was crazy. Like I just didn't expect it. And then J. Cole dropped something too so quick. It's like, I mean, do y'all think it's like real beef, or do y'all think it's like some type of marketing thing?
I don't think it's marketing. I think it's just like, you remember like years back, I think it was like 2017 maybe before that actually, when Kendrick dropped the Control verse and everyone went crazy over it, where he was dissing everybody.
Yeah.
Nobody had a problem with it because it was very much from like a sports standpoint. Kendrick always does that sometimes, where he'll just come out and drop a verse dissing everybody, but it's on like competitive shit. He's like, I'm just doing this to show I'm the best. I still got love for everybody, but I have to show everyone I'm the top of all of this.
Yeah.
And this time it feels a little bit different. I don't know. He didn't seem as respectful about like Cole and Drake like they normally do, And Cole's always been the guy to give the flowers to Drake and Kendrick, He's always like, if anything, putting himself below. Like he had the song on it was one of Drake's beats. He did a remix too, where he was saying like they threw the bronze at him, like Cole and Kendrick and Drake, he sees them as being above him at that point. And now he's coming back, clapping back at him, So I think it's really interesting. But who do you think out of those three would actually win this beef? You got Kendrick, Cole, Drake. Who are you taking in that?
In terms of like the songs, like who's gonna win in like the diss track sense?
Yeah.
I'd probably say Kendrick. Like Kendrick's just so much more like, I guess, like raw than them. Like Drake is real like commercial, like real pop.
Yeah.
He's not really like a battle rapper type of dude anymore. And J. Cole is more like a positivity, like chill type of rapper. So I mean, just like Kendrick is just more like aggressive and just more angry, I guess. So I feel like he would like have some crazy bars like compared to like the other two, but like
Kendrick's gonna be trying to kill them.
Yeah, like I feel like I mean if you're
trying
like
to negotiate peace,
if you're Drake, like it doesn't really matter. Like what I mean, if you're J. Cole, like y'all are already kind of just doing your own thing, and now Kendrick is the one that feels like, I guess, insulted by them saying the big three thing. So he's the one that's hungry. So I think that's why like his diss track probably have the best one.
But best believe Drake will have people singing
Drake's
this track in the club. Like
people
will be partying.
Numbers wise, I think Drake will probably have the hit out of it. Just because that's how it always is. But I mean, we'll see. We'll have to see what he comes up with.
So what do you
If
think
we
of that
go
last
through
one?
like a
Wow, 3 for 3.
3 for 3.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh man, I can't wait till we're back in person, man.
I'm like, shit. Yeah. Who wants to take it? Which of the
Nishk,
three
you
wants to
go
take
for it. You go for it.
I was going back to. I was gonna say that last track of the Cole album where he like punches back at Kendrick. What do you think of that? Do you think it was like anything of substance in there? Or you think, I don't know. I heard a lot of people like on the side. It was like, oh, it was pretty shitty. It wasn't that good. Pretty bad diss. What do you think?
I thought it was okay. Like it just wasn't that, like there wasn't no crazy lines in there where you're like, oh my god, like did he say that? Like it was just kind of like it was just not enough like bars in it. Like it was just kind of like he just kind of went in there and just did something. Like what's it called, like 7-minute drill? He probably made it in 7 minutes. Like it was just kind of like
Yeah.
he just went in there and just kind of said something just to say something back, but it didn't seem like it was super like thoughtful or personal or like any like real diss in there. It was just kind of like a response. So like I thought it was okay. Like I didn't think it was that good compared.
Yeah,
to, like,
J. Cole does
I
not
think-
seem to care. He's just like a hands off kind of guy. He's like, all right,
yeah,
y'all are
like
beefing.
he just
It's like
just kind of said something.
Isn't that a diss itself though? Because Kendrick's about to put in a lot of time on this
Yeah.
on this diss track back, and J. Cole's like, I don't really
Seven
care
minutes,
at all.
7 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Might delete
Now that
that.
Yeah.
Might delete
Yeah.
it.
I feel like Cole. The response was warranted. I feel like because Kendrick wasn't really going at Cole too much. I feel like he only
Yeah.
said a few. He was mainly going at Drake. I think.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I think Kendrick was paying more respect to Cole than he was to Drake in his diss. But also, I don't think Kendrick went that hard in his diss track. I'm gonna be honest. Like what he did wasn't that crazy. Like what he put out is easily toppable by both Drake and Cole. You know,
Yeah.
that's still easily toppable. So I think Drake's response, Cole's response is perfect amount because I think Cole likes the competition in the music space. I think he wants to send just slightly above what Kendrick did
Yeah.
so that it keeps going back and forth rather than just having one each and it being over, you know, because I think he also likes the competitive sport aspect of it, you know. And I think people are hating on the diss too much, man. People are thinking
Muhammad
it's
Ali,
only the
what
one
can I say?
song. That's what I'm saying. Like people are hating on the diss too much, man. They think it's only the one song. He's got sublims throughout the entire album
Yeah.
going at Kendrick, and I think he's had some decent shots in there. And there's also like some really clever wordplay in it.
Yeah.
But like I don't know if like I just saw this yesterday, but at the start of it, he was saying like no one will be talking about you if not for the controversy. But the way he says it is like controversy. So he's talking about the fact that he's referencing nobody talks about him until he has to put out something dissing everybody.
Yeah.
And I think that was just a sick flip. Like, I think people aren't giving Cole the respect he
I mean,
deserves.
yeah. When you say it like that, like I agree with that. It's like a response, but it's not like this song. Like it's okay, I'm gonna drop this and it's done. It's like it's kind of like poking the fire. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you look at it that type of thing, I think it's a good response.
Yeah. Well, I gotta admit, Cole kind of missed by saying like "To Pimp a Butterfly" is a miss, man. Like he said "To Pimp a Butterfly" is boring. Like,
Yeah.
bro, Twitter was an outrage, man. Like it was so funny because like half the people started saying, you know what, Cole's kind of right here, and then everyone was like, when the fuck did people start hating "To Pimp a Butterfly"? Like when did this happen?
Right.
Going over these two artists like Kendrick and Cole, we have a little bit of like, I don't know, like a little segment here where we want you to compare the two of them in a few different aspects, in a few different categories. Obviously these two are some like the biggest artists in their space. Kendrick and Cole has always been like a huge debate, but in 4 different aspects, I want you to tell me who you think is the best in that specific aspect. So first off, who do you think has the better flow?
I think J. Cole does, because Kendrick has probably like a more like technical flow, like putting the syllables into the beat.
Yeah.
But J. Cole's flow is, to me, like flow is like what makes a good flow is something that is catchy, like it's stuck in your head, and something that people can sing along to. So with J. Cole, like, he has such a smooth flow, smooth cadence that it's like you kind of go with the rhythm. You can sing it, it gets stuck in your head, whatever. Whereas Kendrick is like attacking your ears, like he's like just trying to fill up the beat in all these like cool, unique type of ways. But to me, it's like J. Cole's flow is just like more pleasing to listen to. You know what I mean?
That's tough. That's so tough. Like, because
Yeah.
Kendrick is so much more technical. I feel like.
Yeah, he
I don't
is.
want to say so much, but I get what you mean. Cole's is like better listening sometimes, but Kendrick
Yeah.
gets in these crazy pockets.
Kendrick gets in the
that-
crazy pockets and stuff. But I think
don't know,
like
man, that's tough.
I just think like J. Cole's flow is just more smooth, and just to me, I like that better than just like I look at it as more than just like a technical aspect. I look at it as like, okay, what does the music sound like? Because at the end of the day, that's like the most important part.
Yeah, kind of going off what you said, like, you know, Kendrick gets in those pockets. He's very selective about what he's like saying in each syllable, each bar. Who do you think has better lyrics? Do you think Kendrick with that kind of aspect has the better lyrics, or do you think Cole still wins out and just has better songs when it comes to their lyrics?
I think Kendrick probably has better, deeper lyrics, like more wordplay, more like, you know, things that you can really break down. I think that like he just puts he has like more triple entendres, things like that are like super deep that you kind of got to go back and okay, what is he talking about? But I think J. Cole probably has better like storytelling. Like that's like his strength is like in his songs, like his stories, his like relatability, things like that.
That was gonna be the third one. I was gonna ask who do you think has a better storytelling? But yeah, I think Cole definitely has better storytelling. He always like actually creates.
What?
I think so, dude. I think he like it just.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
I think I gotta focus too much on the story. Like I gotta actually like fully like. It's like it's too constant. I feel like with J. Cole, I just like relax and like listen to the story rather than like actively go out of my way to like be looking for it.
I feel like I don't want
to look through the lyrics to find the story. That's why I hear the story.
It goes back to like it goes back to me it goes back to like the technicality thing and just like the listening to it versus like having to break it down. Like on a technical level, like basically everything that Kendrick does is super crazy, but in like a Kendrick song, most of the time you got to go figure out what the story is. Like he's using so many like word plays and this and that. You got to really listen to it, and then once you do, it's like okay, like that's super crazy. But as J. Cole, he's more of like a storyteller. He's telling you the story rather than kind of putting it in some complex way.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I
So
get
to me,
that.
that's why I would say that.
No, I completely agree.
I think Kendrick takes that though, man. Come on,
Dude, come on,
dude,
bro. We're talking
Cole's
storytelling.
Look at the album.
Are you
whole,
stupid?
No, bro. Are you kidding me? Kendrick's albums, the whole album is sequentially ordered to spell out a specific story. Look at how Mr. Morale, the Big Steppers, is ordered for it. But I love Cole. I prefer Cole's music over Kendrick. Like I'd say Cole's probably my second favorite artist, just behind them. But like, I can't say he's a better storyteller than Kendrick.
You got no words, bro.
Dude,
if you need a Rosetta Stone to figure out what Kendrick is saying, that's not good storytelling. You don't have to have a translator to figure out what he's saying. When Cole raps, it's more like, you know, you're feeling more than you're seeing the lyrics. You know, you feel his emotion more than you do Kendrick's. Kendrick's is more like fast paced and like, you know, like large spikes of just like random lyrics. And then like I was saying, like if you need to be able to like look in depth and have to translate
lyrics,
that nonsense,
random lyrics. You're calling Kendrick random.
How else do you want me to describe it,
man?
I'm
just not trying to go back to ELA, bro. I'm just not trying to like go and like go. I'd have to like pull up the lyrics and actually like read through them multiple times to understand everything to like actually get a song. And if it weren't for like TikToks that explain everything in like a minute, I wouldn't understand like the true meaning behind half of Kendrick's songs.
Hold up. And don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I think you're taking me the complete wrong way. I think you're getting the feeling that I'm saying that Kendrick is not a good rapper.
Yeah, he's good.
He is amazing, astounding, and not all of his songs are like that. But some of his, bro, like I'm telling you, you gotta have that Rosetta Stone like right beside you when you're listening to that, because you don't know what he's saying half the time. Cole is just it's just easy. Crazy. It's more free, bro. It's more free flowing. Like there's a lot more emotion when it comes to Cole, bro.
Yeah, like if you were sitting around like a campfire having someone tell you a story, like I would rather have them say it like J. Cole does than have them say it like Kendrick.
Yeah,
you know
like Kendrick, bro. Like it would just be yelling.
Imagine Kendrick trying to tell a campfire story.
Kendrick writes the shit like The Great Gatsby. Everything's like a metaphor for something else. It's like 3 layers deep, and then you finally get to the story.
Yeah.
All right.
But I mean, okay. Who's a better rapper though?
Well, we got
before
we
move on.
We got one more category, and then from there we'll be able to tell. That last category, who has better albums? Who do you think out of the two has overall just better albums in like their totality?
Who's got the better discography?
Yeah.
I think I personally like J. Cole's albums better, or at least like most of them, because with Kendrick's albums, like J. Cole's albums to me just have more like what's the word, repeatability, like more songs I would go back and listen to more, versus like Kendrick's albums is kind of like I listen to it and it's like a display of talent and it's something I can appreciate, like all the wordplay, this and that. But like besides like, you know, a couple of Kendrick's big songs, like J. Cole's songs are more, I guess, relatable to me, and I'll go listen to him more. Like it draws me back in more than Kendrick. So I think I'd have to give it to J. Cole in terms like the albums.
Damn, so you got J. Cole taking this 3-1, man. Damn,
Yeah.
I was not expecting that.
I mean, I wouldn't say it's that different. Like in terms of like who I think is the better rapper, because most of the categories to me are very close. Like I'm just giving it to J. Cole because of like a certain reason. Because like I think in terms of like flows, like lyrics, things like that, like you can argue Kendrick for all three of those. Like you could flip it the other way around. Like it's like all on the edge. But I just like listening to J. Cole better just because it's just I like the music better.
I agree with that. I agree with that. Like I prefer Cole's music, but I prefer listening to. I listen to a lot more Cole than Kendrick. And if we're going by albums, I think there's not been an artist who's as consistent in terms of albums than Kendrick.
It's Kendrick.
He's not had
bro.
a single album that's been like even a little bit of a miss. I think, you know.
No, I agree. I think in albums, Kendrick takes it, bro. Like To Pimp a Butterfly, Good Kid, Mad City, like those albums top a lot. Like especially coming from someone who like religiously would love J. Cole over Kendrick any day. You got to give albums to him, bro. This guy.
I'd have to go back and listen to him like one after the other to really decide.
Yeah, but it's a tough one, man. It's a tough one.
It's tough.
I think Kendrick is just more artistic than J. Cole. Like if I was judging him based on like I think Kendrick is like the better like artist. Like when he like it comes like making the music like an artistic thing. Like I think Kendrick takes that any day. Like,
Kendrick definitely puts more time into his albums.
Yeah, like a technical rapper, things like that.
Yeah,
I think you have to put Kendrick on top. But it's just for me. I feel like J. Cole has certain songs that just like I'm just so much more attached to than like most.
It's the relatability. That's all it is about J. Cole. His relatability in all his songs. Like his voice is just easier to comprehend.
And so it always comes down to just like which one you prefer in terms of sound. Like when there's always a debate between the two, it's always just like, oh, I prefer this over the other. But,
Damn. So then, okay. So let me ask you this though. All right. I remember we talked about our top 5 artists of all time.
Every time he starts talking,
what do we talk about, man? What do we talk about?
A long time.
What do we talk about?
We talked about it. In that,
Hrishi, start over. You cut out.
I remember we talked about who we thought are the top 5 artists, and not talking about just like our opinions. We're talking about like in general. And I remember you put Kendrick at what, 2? I think you put Kendrick at 2.
I would change my ordering slightly at this point. To me, I consider myself like a pretty like decently sized or like big hip hop head, but like. If anyone's making a top 5, not on their personal taste, but on who they think's the greatest, anybody I think out of those 5 I gave is like a valid number 1 spot. So I could see anybody putting any of those 5 at 1.
Such a politically correct answer. At least stir up some controversy, man.
Bro,
I think all 5 of them are number 1.
I got flamed for my list, bro. Like
who was your 5?
My 5 was Jay-Z. No, my 5 was Lil Wayne. 4 was Jay-Z. 3 I had Nas, 2 Kendrick, 1 Eminem.
Yeah, that was a personal choice.
I wouldn't put Eminem at 1.
That was a personal choice.
Oh, I fucking Eminem. Yeah. To me, Eminem will always be 1, man. I've been listening to my whole life.
But the question was not for you, bro. The question was generally who is the best artist.
Which is why, if I'm being completely 100% objective, I think at this point you have to give it to Nas. You have to give it to Nas at this point. He's got the old catalog to back it up, and the resurgence he had in the 2020s is just unparalleled. Like I can't believe
he's
how
LeBron,
insane
bro.
that is.
he's
it's actually crazy. I think you have to give it to Nas.
Yeah, I was always putting Nas at 1 whenever I made a list like this, like back in the day. I think that he's just like one of the GOATs. Like he's just so consistent, still able to do it now. Like still able to do it back then. He has such important albums like Illmatic and things like that. So it's just like
Illmatic's just insane, man. Like God, what an impactful album also. Like when we talk about storytelling, like when we did like a draft of like building the perfect rapper, and we had to choose like a specific person for each category. I took Nas's storytelling without a question.
Mm-hmm.
Like to me, that's just pure raw storytelling.
Yeah.
Man. You can't paint a picture better than Nas, man.
Yeah.
Going back to talking about like your experience as an artist and kind of balancing it with school. You are a student currently. You talked to us a little bit about like, waking up right before like a midterm or exam or final it was, and like the night before you're in the club at 3 a.m. Is there anything your parents said to you that like, they have opinions about? Or I know you said your mom's a huge Drake fan, so she definitely likes hip hop at least a little. She likes music. Is there anything she said to you about it? Is there any like reactions she's had or anything like that?
I mean, yeah, she always gets mad when I don't go to class, But it's like at the end of the day, like I have good grades. It's like that's like so her. She's always like, okay, like don't let your grades fall. I'm like, okay, like they're not, like, you know what I mean. Like that's her main thing, is just making sure that I keep like hope and zeal and things like that. I keep the scholarships, and that I don't like just kind of waste my time in school and just like start like failing class or something like that, because then it's just a waste of money. It's a waste of everything else. But as long as like I keep my grades up and stuff, she's pretty much okay with it. Like she always like gets on me about like not going to class or things like that. But if like if I can still get the grades and stuff, she's okay with it.
What do they think about like you kind of wanting to pursue music as like a full-time career as your aspiration? Because obviously you come to a school like Georgia Tech, where it's obviously a great school. Do they or like does your mom kind of like feel a certain way about you wanting to do music as your profession like for the rest of your life, or does she kind of want you to take more of a traditional path?
My mom used to work in the music industry back in the day.
Sick.
So when I was like a baby, she was like a radio host like in Michigan, and she was like she did that, and then she worked for like a label or something. So she's kind of knows about the music industry, and she would probably see it as more of like a job than like most people that like just don't know anything about it. And also like my mom, I guess my mom has always just been super supportive of what I want to do. Like whenever like, cause like I've always wanted to do this my whole life. Like it's clear like that it's something I take seriously. And so she's always kind of been supportive of it. Like I don't think it's like a lot of other parents are like, oh nah, like you have to get this job. You have to, like, my mom was never really like that. She was always kind of supportive of like what I wanted to do. And I guess that actually is probably like a big thing about why I feel like I could do it. Because if I was a kid and my mom was like, no, like you could never do this, like you need to stop, then maybe like I wouldn't have believed in myself enough to do or something like that. So like honestly, I give like a big credit to my mom for believing in me and encouraging me to do things that I want to do. Because like I didn't have the same experience a lot of people do, where it's like, your parent, you have to like hide. I mean, I did hide it from her at first, but like once you found out, like it was fine. Like she never was like, no, like you need to go be a doctor or something like that. It was like, but it's also like you can like see. She could see like me having success in it and like, doing things that I want to do now that's like working. So it's like, it's just more real than like me just sitting there saying it. But
that's sick, man. Shout out moms, man.
Yeah, shout out moms.
One of these
Not
days,
for real. They're always the most supportive when it comes to all that. But I feel like, like even if it does come to the point where they're like not being supportive, it comes from like a place of love.
Yeah, it's like they want the best
it's
thing for
like,
you.
Yeah.
But like people don't always know what's the best for you because they're not in your shoes. So I think you always got to go with like your heart and what you think you should do instead of like somebody else telling you what to do.
I agree 100%.
Yeah,
I definitely heard all of that.
Yeah.
I cut out again, but yeah, no, I agree. I just think I think your parents play like a big role in shaping you as like a kid.
Yeah.
Because I feel like your parents tell you one thing, you might end up doing like something completely different than what you wanted to do as a kid.
Yeah.
But it's good to have someone who believes in you from such like a young age, because it kind of lets you pursue what you want to do. And well, for you, it turned out really well because now you're successful. So big props to you, big props to your mom, bro.
She's gonna be going to a Drake.
Mom saw the vision, man. Mom saw the vision.
She's gonna be going to a Drake concert. They're gonna be opening for him.
Right.
yeah. Drake's on his like 20th album tour, man. She's like, my son's opening for Drake, man.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. I got a good question for you. All right, this is something that like I think about, especially when I get like my first job, when I start making money. What is like that first big purchase you want to make when you sign a big deal, or you get like, you get like one of your songs just pops off and it starts like blowing up. What's that first thing that you're buying when you get that money running in?
First thing I'm buying. I guess it depends on how much money I get.
Let's say $1 million. Let's say it's $1 million. We have that station.
I got $1 million tomorrow. First thing I would probably buy is probably a car. Like I don't even have a car right now.
You're speaking Hrishi's language, man.
Yeah, I haven't needed. What car are we talking? I haven't needed one. I've always wanted to get Audi R8 since I was a kid.
Oh,
so I'll probably get like an Audi R8, put like my logo on it, like on the hood or something like that, and that's definitely like my dream car right there.
The Audi R8 is such a solid car. Like, all right, let me ask you. Oh, I just kicked something. What color are you getting that Audi R8 in? Because I know a lot of people like to go like pretty weird colors when they get the Audi R8. Like I've seen somebody get it in like baby blue mixed with like green interior. Like I've seen some pretty weird R8s because people like to customize them. It's super easily customizable. What color are you getting your R8? Because this matters, bro. You may not think it's an important question, but it's probably the most important question when you're buying this type of car.
I guess I was always planning on getting it in black.
In
black, good, and having like the white logo like this on it.
Yeah.
Oh wait,
that's cool.
Show me that logo.
Yeah, this is the back of my merch right here. Yeah, the Royal Circle.
That's actually really sick.
Yeah, putting that on the Audi R8, like that's like in my head. That's my dream. That's what I see. You know what I mean? That's my dream. So that would probably be like the first thing I would do. You know, besides like helping out my mom or something like that.
All right. Well, you send me a text when you get that R8. I'm flying to Atlanta, and we're gonna go for a little joyride.
Exactly. Yeah, I got you. Man.
I'm excited to hop in the car.
Yeah, me too, man.
Dude, tell us about the Royal Circle. I see it on your Instagram, man. The merch looks so sick. Like you see a lot of people try to make clothing, and it just looks like shit. Like every day, I see like a random Instagram ad pop up, and I'm like, "What the why?" You know, like same way how people like love to comment. Not everybody needs a podcast. You know, not everybody needs a merch line, man. Not everybody needs a merch line, but yours actually looks so sick. Like it's one of the few times I see like an artist or just someone make clothing and actually looks good. Like, what made you want to get into that, and what's like the inspiration behind it?
I wanted to get into it because I just wanted more stuff I could wear. Like that was just unique. I just wanted to wear my own merch. It's like a good feeling. And I just thought that it's just something that you need to do. Like when you're an artist, you need to have some type of merch. And I hate most artists' merch. I really don't. Like I don't like it. Yeah. So it's like I wanted to make something that I would actually wear and I think's actually good. Cause I don't know how they come up with most of their merch, but it just doesn't. It's just a lot of it's just not really fashionable. It's not wearable. So like really my main inspiration for making merch is just to have more clothes that I can wear that I like. Like I just like to wear clothes that I can make. But
so are you designing these yourself?
Yeah, I designed it myself.
Wow.
Like
this guy does everything, man.
I like drew the logos and stuff like in like some notebook, and I had some dude from Fiverr like turn it into like an actual.
Let me say
I'm not gonna lie, because I agree with you that like a lot of artists have pretty shitty merch, and I'm looking at like the Royal Circle kind of merch. I'm just like, you know, aside from like that being like your brand as an artist, dude, I could definitely see that like take off as like a clothing brand on itself.
That was
like if I definitely saw that in the store, I'd be like, oh, like this is a cool brand. Like it looks dope, man. Because like the logo is cool, like the name itself of like the Royal Circle is just dope. What's up, man?
Welcome back.
Yeah, man. Jay, you know what it is, man. Ed Jerome, man. Ed Jerome's not always the best, man.
I was gonna say your website too looks so sick. The landing page where it's like the spinning logo and the enter.
Oh yeah, the little spinning logo.
It looks amazing.
Yeah, it was dope.
Yeah, it's like one of the coolest like merch websites I've seen in a long time.
For real. Yeah, I feel like I don't know. I just like to do. I feel like with everything I do, I like to have it be like I have a certain type of taste that I like, and I just kind of make it carry over. Because like I feel like I don't know, a lot of people, I don't know if it's they just like don't see that it doesn't look good and they just don't like put that much thought and time into it. But I try to make it kind of all cohesive and make it all kind of be its own thing and it's like be viable on its own. Because like that's one of my goals is to make the Royal Circle thing like its own clothing brand in the future. Like once I have more time to do it.
Yeah.
So
that spinning logo just looks so sick.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
I don't know if you talked about it while I was dropped out, but like, what kind of is like the meaning behind the logo? Is there any specific reason why you designed it that way? Or?
Okay, so I guess I don't have a picture of it. I have two logos actually, but the one that you've seen, this one, is like the one that's like my swoosh, like the Nike swoosh. This one was kind of an accident. Like I had a whole different, like more complicated logo that's so much more meaningful. Like every single part of it means all these different things, which I'm still gonna use. Like I still have plans for it. But then when I was making that logo and I had this little text logo and I had it like this, right, without the little two swords right here. I was like, yo man, just put two swords to the O. Like just do that. And I'm like he did it. And when I was looking at the file, like I kind of like just got rid of all the other letters and I looked at that and I was like, yo, like that's such a clean logo. Like I need something that was simpler. And I was like, man, that's so clean. I just got to use that. So it was kind of like an accident to get this one. Like there wasn't like I didn't plan on it being that one, but it just makes so much sense. Like a circle, it has the two swords through it. Like it just makes sense for it to be that one. So like I didn't plan on it being that. There's not really no like secret meaning to like the swords and stuff. I probably have to I came up with one after the fact. Like just because somebody asked me, I had to make something up on the spot. I think I said it means like the cross swords. It means something like stand together or like stand united or something like that. You know, like it's like Royal Circle. It's like knights. It's like standing up for what you believe in. Things like that. But yeah, no, this one was like completely an accident. Like I just kind of came up with it.
For an accident, it looks really nice.
I love that, man. The best things happen by accident.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah.
Yeah, you can plan so much stuff, but then like, you know, something just pops up and changes your plans. So that's kind of what happened.
Yeah. While we're on that, I guess, how did you come up with your name, J Royal? What did you decide on that?
Okay, so that name, when I was a kid, all right, like I think my teacher or somebody would call me like King James, and like I don't know, I always like that. Cause my real name's James, so I always like the King aspect, the King James aspect. But when you say King James, like he's LeBron, you're gonna think of LeBron. So I was like, man, I can't call myself King James. That's already taken. So I just kind of flipped it around. Like I changed the King to Royal. And I just put the J first. So I just changed it from King James to J Royal. And then that's how I kind of came up with all that. And like the Royal Circle thing is just kind of like a natural spin off of that.
Damn, you had some cool teachers, man.
But yeah. Shout out to Miss Casper. That's who it was.
You're originally from Atlanta and you like grew up there? Or
Yeah, so I was born in Lansing, Michigan. And then I came to Atlanta when I was like 2. So like I've basically been in Atlanta like my whole life.
So did you grow up in the city itself or like outside of the city?
When I was younger, when I was like a small kid, me and my mom were in some apartment in the city. Then when I got a little older, probably like middle school, elementary school, I moved a little farther up to like the Chamblee area, like North Atlanta. I lived in Gwinnett for a little bit. Like I was mainly just around like the North Atlanta, like the city. And then the suburbs a little bit and things like that. But I mean, I'd even lived in Tennessee for a little bit. My grandma lived in Tennessee. She lived like in Pulaski, like the middle of nowhere, like straight countryside. Yeah. So it was weird because I would go from the city of Atlanta. Like when I was a kid, I'd go from the city of Atlanta. And then when I went to go stay with my grandma for a little bit, it would be like just like the countryside, like your neighbor's like a mile away, right? Like I live next to like a farm or something like that. It's like such a different dynamic that is crazy. But yeah, like I've lived in a bunch of different places, man.
Do you think the city like influenced you a lot growing up in terms of music or just your life? How big of a role do you think Atlanta has like in your life?
I mean, yeah, I think being in Atlanta and just seeing like the culture around you is such a big like music and entertainment culture here that it's like just being in it and being involved in it, it just makes it seem so much more like real and like tangible to you because you can see all the stuff going on that if I had just lived in like Pulaski my whole life or some random place like that. Like in Pulaski, like I think like my aunt or something like that, like she worked at a grocery store for like 50 years, like just cashier. Like that's it. Like that's the peak there. That's as far as it gets. So like I think like living somewhere like that, you just never even realize what you can do. Like to them it's just like, you know, you get a job at like a store or something and that's all you can really do over there. Versus like being in Atlanta, you can see so much more potential, so many more things happen. So I think that's kind of opened my mind up to like the possibility of so many different things.
What, you saying there's not a big rap scene in Pulaski?
Nah, there's, believe it or not, man, it's not even there's not a scene at all. There's nothing over there. There's a big farm scene. Probably would want to be a farmer or something like that.
Hey man, you have no idea the possibilities of that place, man. Up and coming place.
I don't know.
It's a new epicenter, man.
First up and coming Pulaski rapper is gonna come out and diss me, man. Like, oh my bad. I didn't know.
Well, while we're on the subject of Atlanta, you mentioned that you got to perform in like a lot of cool clubs while you're out here. While you're performing, or I guess even while opening for NLE, what's the craziest fan or crowd experience you saw? What's the craziest thing? You're on stage and you look out into the audience. What's the craziest thing you think you've seen?
That's a good question, man. What is the craziest thing? I don't know. That's such a unique question. The craziest thing that I've seen. I don't know. You see a lot, man. You see people fighting. You see people like crowd surfing. You see people with like crazy signs.
What's the weirdest
sign? Oh, I know one actually. I was at Georgia Tech. I was at a frat party and I was performing with this dude named like Jawan Kim.
Oh, Jawan Kim. Yeah.
So when we were I was with Jawan, and then there's a bunch of people in the crowd holding up these like signs. They were all like, "Jawan, I'm fertile." I was like,
"Oh, I saw that. I saw that. Yeah.
I was like, "Bro, that's how your fans are, man."
That's crazy, dude. Yeah,
that was so funny.
Is this one of those things that?
But that
was
one
of those things that shows up on G-Tech Barstool? Do you guys have a G-Tech Barstool?
Yeah.
It might be actually. It might be.
I know it was. It's probably on like the Georgia Tech, like just like the Georgia Tech Snapchat story, like the little student one. But
yeah,
that one was pretty funny.
That's hilarious,
dude. Jawan's also been putting out some cool TikTok. What do you think about the planking that he does everywhere? Do you think it's a little overused now, or are you still cool with it?
I think it's genius. Like it's such a good. It's so easy to repeat. You just go plank somewhere.
That's what I'm saying,
right? And it's like I think any type of content like that where it's super repeatable and it works. That's the easiest thing because then it's like you don't really need an idea. You could just go do the plank thing and you know it's gonna work. And also, it's like it's something that other people could do so easily. They could just take it, plank, use the same song. So like that's the key elements of a trend is like it being easily repeatable for you and being easily repeatable for somebody else. So I think that's like it's such a good trendy idea. I fuck with it.
Wait, I'm confused. Someone got to explain for the non-Georgia Techers here, bro. Like, what is he doing exactly?
So what he does is he literally just go and just lay on the ground or like lay on the table in the library, just like plank on it. And he'll just
brought that plank trend back.
Yeah, kind of. Like he went to like Times Square, just laid in the middle of the ground.
Yeah.
And he just lays on the ground, and then he'll say something like who knew going through a breakup in college would be this hard? And him like on the top of the library, just like laying there with some sad music, and it's his song. So it's like, I think it's smart. I think it's really smart.
It's genius, honestly. Yeah. There's some that went to I know got a little bad reaction. Like he did one on train tracks and made it look like the train was coming at him. Yeah. But like he reversed it, so he did it as the train was going. As the train was leaving. Like the train was coming at him. So like that was a little weird, but overall I think it's pretty funny. And now he's got the piano one that he's doing, like that new trend he's doing. I think it's pretty cool. Would you want to maybe collab? Is there a lot of I think that's a surprising amount of artists at Georgia Tech because you think like Georgia Tech, when you hear it, you think it's just like a bunch of nerds at school, but there's like a lot of artists making music here. Is that someone you would want to collab with? Would you like to get more involved with like the Georgia Tech community here?
Yeah, me and him talk all the time about like making some stuff. We just still got to get in the studio. We just haven't done it yet. But like, I try to stay involved in the Georgia Tech community. Like a lot, like basically all the artists here, like I'm cool with. But yeah, I would definitely make like songs with them. Like we basically all have songs in the works. It's just like we haven't dropped anything yet. But yeah, like I like Juwan, I like Jumbo, like all those types of people. So we definitely got more stuff coming.
Amazing, man.
Sick. Yeah. I guess to close out here, wrapping regards, man. Any advice you have for aspiring artists out there who want to get to the level you are right now? What do you have to say to those people who want to make it in this industry?
You just got to believe in it more than anyone else does, right? Because, like, nobody's ever really going to see what you can see until you do it, right? Like, so, like, whenever you say you want to be a rapper, whenever you want to say you want to do anything in life, like, no, you can't expect people to believe in you just because you say it or just because you want to do it. Like, you can't blame them for that. Like, they have to see that you can do it. So that's why you got to believe in it yourself, and you just got to be consistent and just keep working towards that every day. Because, like, especially, like, doing something like that that's so hard to do, everybody wants to do it, you're just going to keep working towards it every day. It's going to feel like it's not working. You're going to feel like you're wasting your time. But then there's like that one day where you do the right thing and then everything changes and it just makes it all so much more worth it. So I would say just keep working, keep being consistent, keep believing in yourself. And then, one day
you'll open up for NLE.
Damn.
yeah, right. That's what I was saying.
Got me in my feels after that, man.
Yeah, dude, this guy's got it all, man. This guy's crazy, man. All right, now before we go, any final promo you want to do? Let them know about your album, where they can check you out, where they can follow you.
Yeah, you can follow me on all platforms at JRoyalOfficial. I just dropped a song called Too Much. Go check that out. I'm finna drop more songs like every 2 weeks till the album drops. So just stay tuned. You can check my Instagram. I'll be posting them. But yeah, we got a lot of stuff coming, man. I'm excited.
RoyalCircleOfficial.com. Buy the merch.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, RoyalCircleOfficial.com.
Yeah. Get the merch. Get the merch.
I got it on right now. But yeah, we're lit.
Sick. All right, thanks for coming on, man. Everyone, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you next week, guys. See ya.
See ya.
Peace.